and they win the NFC South.
What's good, everybody? Let's talk some Tampa sports. In this video, we are going to be taking a look at the starters and how they performed in preseason game 2 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Overall, I said it in my recap of the game the night of, they looked good. Overall, offense and defense. Was it perfect? No, but it's the preseason. That's what the preseason for. So we'll go through the good and the bad here through that nearly one quarter that they played. So once again, starters. And I do want to call out before I get into this, the Steelers did not play their starters. I think that is important to call out. So it's our, for the most part, top guys against their, for the most part, backups. That is something that should be called out in this video. So let's go ahead and get started. One of the few issues I had with how things went was the run game. Of course, you got Bucky out there. You got your starting offensive line out there. You want it to look good. It looked pretty good last game when you had all of the backups in. So you kind of wanted to see that carry over. It just didn't. This first drive here, of course, no Baker. So this is Bridgewater's first time in a Bucs uniform, first time leading a drive on the field for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And it looked like that. It wasn't the greatest drive. Quick 3 and out, included a false start from Charlie Heck. It just wasn't pretty at all. So we'll go ahead and get into this. Bucky Irving, run to the right here. Graham Barton is already falling down. In hindsight, you would want Bucky to just, plow into this and get as many yards as he can. But there, he just bumps into Payne Durham, who's trying to make a block, and Bucky tries to bounce it outside here to make a play. There's just not really anything there for him to get, and it ends up becoming a loss for the Bucs. So we'll let that run. There you go, turning around. And there's just too many black jerseys. Nothing there to be had for Bucky, and that's a loss on your first play of the game. So here we go. This is going to be another run play. Graham Barton just doesn't really pick up a blitz here, so 55 is going to come shooting through, and Graham Barton is going to just tag 95 with Cody Mock here. So I'll let that run. They both go after 95. That just leads to a gaping hole for 55 in black, and Bucky, there's not really much he can do there. Anytime your offensive lineman is just turned around backwards like this, it's probably not a good thing, and in this case, wasn't a good thing. Bucky, there's nothing he can do there. Good tackle by 55. All right, and this is 3rd and long now. We are going to just call out here. This is where we want to look. Charlie Heck didn't have a bad night. This is definitely his worst rep of the night, though. And this is on a 3rd and long pass rushing scenario. We know this guy's just coming full speed. He's just going to come and cut inside. Charlie Heck just can't get in front of him, can't put his hands on him, and he blows right through. And, forces Teddy Bridgewater off of his mark. So, once again, I don't want, to think that Heck just had a horrible night. This is his worst rep of the night. I think he had an okay day. I'm not leaving the game feeling more confident than I was before with Charlie Heck. But it wasn't a bad day. So I'll let this run. There's the cut inside, and he's already beat. Bredesen tries to help him out here at the last second, but that's just not going to happen. And it would have been a probably decent-sized play, because if you watch Bucky, he's going to be wide open. So if they're able to make this block and Teddy Bridgewater can just sit in his spot and make this dump off to Bucky, it's probably a big play. I don't know if it gets a first down because, like I said, it's 3rd and long, but Bridgewater makes a good move to get out of that sack. Once again, here's Bucky kind of running wide open, and at the top of the screen, Sterling Shepard will come in, and that's where the pass goes. It's a throw on the run. There's a guy in his face. There's a guy chasing him. It ends up falling short. It is what it is. It was 3rd and long. That's how the first drive goes for the starters. All right, now we are on defense. So let's get into how this plays out. They have Roman Wilson coming in motion here, and Kenneth Gainwell is going to just come out here into the flat, and it's up to Christian Izien, who is covering the flat here, to make a one-on-one tackle, and he actually does a very good job. So shout out Christian Izien on this play here. We'll let this run. So there's Gainwell leaking to the flat. Like I said, Christian Izien charging this here and goes low, wraps up, and trips up Gainwell, who's only able to gain 2 yards. Shout out Christian Izien. Great play. All right, this is play number 2 for the Steelers, which of course resulted in that interception by Zion McMillan, shown right there up top, and basically just does a great read on the quarterback and the receiver here, just able to follow him and read the quarterback. Keep an eye on 45, Deion Jones. He does a great job getting in the way of the quarterback, and I will pause it there for you once we get to that point. So we'll let this run here, and I'll pause it there. Quarterback's rearing back, and you see Deion Jones jumping in the air, getting in that passing lane, forcing the quarterback to have to throw it a little bit higher than he would have, which means the ball has to be in the air for maybe a few milliseconds longer. That gives Zion McMillan enough time to cut in front of this right here. Boom. Uses his hands, full extension, great catch by a cornerback, and then does what he can with the return. Honestly, I was just like, Zion, please, just go down. Go down. I don't need to see you getting hurt on an interception that ultimately does not matter. All right, next play here. This is a big what-if play. Drawn up beautifully by Josh Broussard. It works out perfectly. It just wasn't executed at the end. It's kind of like those layups where you make a great move, you get past your defender, but then you blow the layup, that type of thing. So both of these guys are going to jump at this play action here. So they're going to play that play action, and that's going to allow Cade Otton to just come through and leak down the middle of the field, and he ends up being wide open, like wide open. Like I said, this worked out perfectly, exactly how Josh Broussard drew it up. So both those guys jumped, and this guy's just trying to bump Cade Otton to throw him off his mark any way possible. Bridgewater's already reading this here. You can see his eyes, his head facing that way. But heck of a play by this defensive lineman here to just get his paw up and block that. That was bound to be a massive play. So here's the same play, just from the different angle. So you see how many steps up these linebackers take. Just watch these guys here. They take about 3 steps up. 1, 2, 3, and he's gone. All this open space here. But again, great play by that D lineman. All right, next is the Jalen McMillan injury. He's just at the top of the screen here. Cornerback is playing about 10 yards off and allows just something like this to occur. And Teddy Bridgewater, he reads it. He throws it up to him. And when I say throws it up, like literally throws it up to him, it is a skill for quarterbacks to protect their receivers. That is a skill for quarterbacks. This just was not it for Teddy Bridgewater. You want to see some heat on this pass, and low enough to where Jalen McMillan can just catch this. He's open. He has the leverage. Just throw a dart. The ball does not need to be this high in the air on a pass like this. I mean, I'm just going to pause it right there. I'm not even going to play it all the way through. How he held on to this, shout out Jalen McMillan. I'm glad he's okay. All right, we got another run play here. They're going to put Cade Otton in motion, and he's just going to have to pick up a block here. But unfortunately, 2 guys come from this way, and he's only 1 guy. So this kind of gets blown up here. Honestly, Graham Barton kind of gets beat again right here, if you want to take a look at that as well. But we'll let this run. And just the run game overall was not great today. So you see Graham kind of getting beat here already. And Cade Otton picks up 1, but there's another guy there, like I said, and not really anything he can do about that. He ended up making a good tackle on Bucky, and that's that. Here's the first touchdown of the game, and Teddy Bridgewater, that's just him putting trust in his guy right here. This is just an athlete in Bucky Irving on a linebacker, and Teddy Bridgewater doesn't even really look anywhere else. He just snaps it, gets it, bounces maybe twice and just throws it up. Beautiful throw, beautiful touch, and heck of a play, allowing his athlete to go make that play, and that is exactly what Bucky Irving does. Athlete on a linebacker, let your guy go get it, and that's what Bucky does.
Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Fire the cannons.
Not much to say here at all, honestly. Just watch number 50, and I don't have to say anything. Come on. Come on. It's unfair. It's unfair. All right, on that same drive for the Steelers, keep an eye on Tyke Smith here. He's going to go low and just shoot through the gap, and does a great job in doing that. Kind of messes up the play a little bit and allows Deion Jones to come in, make a great tackle, and clean that up. And keep it at a short gain. So there you go. Tyke blew through, and Deion Jones is just sitting there waiting for the mess. Great cleanup duty. Wraps up fully. Drives him to the ground. Next play. Someone I did mention in the recap, Sterling Shepard had a great game. And it's crazy that this guy probably isn't making the original cut in the 53-man roster just because he is a veteran and just the way contracts work when it comes to veterans rather than young guys. It's a little bit different in how much guaranteed money they end up making if they make the team on the 53-man roster to start the year. I'm not a huge contract guy, so that probably doesn't make any sense how I explained it, but I tried. So I'll let this play here. Sterling Shepard is right here in the slot, and let that run. I mean, heck of a cut inside. Heck of a cut inside. Just putting his foot in the ground. Boom. And his man is leaning this way. Sterling's leaning that way. And there we go. It's a gain about 13. Now this is 4th and 6. Once again, Sterling Shepard. Same sort of thing. He kind of rides the inside on the man guarding him and then just puts that right foot in the ground and then cuts this way. It's crazy, like I said, that this guy is sitting at like wide receiver 6 probably. Like it's in a fully healthy receiver room. He's probably sitting at like it's crazy. So just riding the inside, and here he's going to put the foot in the ground, plant it, and cut inside into this open space. Teddy Bridgewater is already reading that. He knows what's coming. 39 is going to get lost. Like, lost. Great move. Great move from Sterling. Catch, and then there's the rack too. I think this was a 27-yard gain on 4th down. And then we should all know what this play is. Emeka Egbuka, first touchdown on the Buccaneers. Once again, it's really Teddy Bridgewater just having faith in his guys. It was funny because he was saying, like, I never even got to play with Emeka Egbuka in practice because he's running with the ones, which Baker Mayfield is leading. So this was his first time actually being able to throw to Emeka, and the fact that he just had that trust in him, throw it up, and let him go make a play. It's impressive. So, boom. It's a beautiful throw. It is a beautiful throw that just goes exactly where you want it to go on a route like this in the end zone. And then crazy catch. Crazy catch. Like I said in my recap, same end zone as Mike Evans' first catch on the touchdown catch on the Buccaneers. Except Emeka's was on this side, and then I think Evans was on this side over here. So pretty crazy. All right, now we are getting to what I called in the recap, the Jamel Dean drive, which I still think we probably can call it that. But I think when we watch this, we'll get a little bit more understanding. I know there's a certain part of this fan base that is probably not going to like me for giving Jamel Dean a little bit of an out here. Little bit. But it's not as bad as it looked in real time. Still not what you want to see, but it's not as bad as it looked. So he's playing 10 yards off, which we've complained enough about that over the years. But Roman Wilson is just going to kind of like have a little post inside. You can tell that Jamel Dean thought he had Tyke Smith's help over the top. to help him with anything deep. But there's going to be a route over the middle here that Tyke Smith jumps on for just half a second, and he's not able to get back in time to help Jamel Dean. So I'll let this run, and I'll pause it when needed. So once again, watch the bite. Jamel Dean's just kind of giving him that inside leverage, allowing him that space. Tyke's backing up far. He's backing up, and then he sees 13, plants his foot, and takes a couple steps. Mason Rudolph is already reading that. You can tell just the way his stance is. He's on his back foot, getting ready to toss that thing deep. There it goes. And now Tyke Smith has to try to make up that ground. Jamel Dean has to try to make up that ground. And it's just a really good throw by Mason Rudolph to lead him just enough. And that's like a 42-yard gain. But yeah, like you can see, this caught the eyes of Tyke Smith. I don't know for sure what everyone's assignment was, but you can see it looks like Jamel Dean thought he had help over top from Tyke, but Tyke's biting here, and neither of them were able to get back in time to guard Roman Wilson. All right, and then this is the pass interference play, so we're looking down here at Jamel Dean. This one, I mean, it's not an egregious pass interference penalty. Like, that's not egregious. Their arms do get locked up right here. We'll watch that one more time. I've seen a lot worse PIs in my days, but is it still PI? Probably, just because of that little arm right there. But either way, flag is thrown, so it doesn't matter, and that put the Steelers on the 2-yard line. So once again, throwing towards Jamel Dean's way. That's 42 yards on the throw, 19 yards on the pass interference. That's a total of 61 yards in 2 plays, given up towards Jamel Dean's side of the field. This next play should have been a touchdown. Complete miscommunication from Isian and McMillan. So I'll let this play here. So got a man cutting in shallow, and you got a man cutting in the back of the end zone. So he's going to go here, and he's going to go here. You'll see Isian throw his arm up like this towards Zion to be like, hey, follow your man sort of thing. And, I mean, you just luck out. You really just luck out at that point. So there was the arm. Let's see if I can get the freeze frame on that. There, he just threw his arm up, trying to signal to Jamel. Or not Jamel, that's Zion on this side of the field. We're going to see Jamel soon. But yeah, 34 is wide open. You got to catch this. Undrafted free agent. He doesn't do it. Kind of feel for him. All right, and then the last play that these starters were in for, Jamel Dean is at the bottom of your screen here. And once again, I can see what Jamel Dean was trying to do, but he's just trying to do too much. He's trying to do too much. Just stick to your assignment, and I think things could have gone the Bucs' way, possibly. But it was just a good play by the Steelers. So 83 is running towards the back of the end zone here, and then 11 is just going to sit in the corner of the end zone here, and Jamel Dean sees this coming, which, as a veteran, good job being able to read the field and see this coming, but he just bites on this, and Jamel, you're the only guy over here to guard this. So it just leaves 11 open for Pittsburgh, and that's a touchdown. So you can see him looking. His eyes are looking right here at 83 cutting across, which probably is where Mason Rudolph's eyes are looking at the moment. So he's biting on that, but because of this, there's pressure. Rudolph kind of gets off beat a little bit, but here's a guy, 11, hands up like this. Come on, throw it to me. And Jamel's not going to be able to get over there in time. So, touchdown Steelers there. And, you live with it. you live with it. Like I was saying in the recap, with the starters, I'm happy with it, especially defensively. That first drive, the Bucs go 3 and out. It is what it is. Teddy Bridgewater's first drive as a Buccaneer, but then Zion McMillan interception. The Bucs turn that into a touchdown. Bridgewater to Bucky. Next drive, the Bucs force what I believe was a 3 and out. Yes, it was. So, Pittsburgh punts. Bucs get the ball back, and Teddy Bridgewater leads a drive down the field. A couple of big plays from Sterling Shepard, which leads to an Ibuka touchdown. Two of the biggest issues last year, forcing turnovers and getting off the field on third down. You're able to see that right here. Turnover, 3 and out. Both of those right here, boom, lead to a touchdown. 3 and out, boom, leads to a touchdown. And then there was the drive that we'll still call it the Jamel Dean drive, where the Steelers do go down the field and score a touchdown. It is what it is. A couple big plays. It happens. It's the preseason. Watch it. Make up for it. Move on. So that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave your comments down below. Like and subscribe if you have not already. Go Bucs, and y'all have a blessed one.
Hey, hey, Tampa Bay.